Hello. Before we dive into this week's episode, I want to invite you to a brand new series that I have coming up called the Aligned Signature Program Summer Series. And this is going to be for you if you have run programs before, but for some reason they felt off. Maybe your last program felt heavy. Maybe it felt like it was really hard to deliver. Maybe you felt like you overdid it and it burned you out. Maybe you felt like you just didn't have the structure that you wanted and you didn't feel confident in the results that you were going to get people. Maybe you didn't fill it the way that you wanted to. If you have been running a program in the past and you know you want to create a signature program, one that really creates that consistent growing revenue that you want in your business without taking more of your time, one that feels really aligned, one that you know gets amazing results, I would love to invite you to our Aligned Signature Program Summer Series. I have never done a series before, and I'm not sure if I'll ever do one again. This is a first time. And the reason I wanted to do this is because I believe wholeheartedly in implementation strategies. So if you've been listening for a little while, you may have heard me talk about them. Implementation strategies are what get your clients and your students out of note-taking mode and even breakthroughs. Like breakthroughs are amazing. We love breakthroughs. We love learning, but I want to help you get your clients into action so that they can get results. And that is what this summer series is going to be about. I am going to give you the opportunity to really take action as well. There's going to be breakout rooms, visualizations, journaling exercises. Like it is going to be such a beautiful experience for you to feel inspired, to feel clear on what your next steps are, and to really give you those first steps too, to be able to create that aligned signature program. And I promise some of the content that I am going to be sharing, you will have never heard before, and it is going to give you such an aha. So if that sounds like something that you want to look into this summer, I would love to have you there. We are going to have the links in the show notes. So pause this episode, take a look, sign up, and let's move on to this week's episode of the Align and Inspire podcast. You're listening to the Align and Inspire podcast. I'm your host, Lori Wyman, and in this episode, I wanted to bring on a case study. Her name is Lori Wyman, and she has such an inspiring story for you to listen to hear. If you have maybe launched a program before and you're feeling hesitant about launching one again, or you want to create that signature program, but you're not really sure where to start, or maybe you're losing motivation, I wanted to bring Lori on today because I find, first off, she has such a fantastic energy, so determined, capable, like she really makes you feel like you can do it. So I really wanted to bring her on because she has such a fantastic story. And I know that you are going to be inspired to really work on launching or refining, improving your signature program. And so I wanted to bring her on the podcast. Lori, welcome to the Align and Inspire podcast.
Thank you very much.
So nice to have you here. So how about we get started and you can let the folks listening know a little bit about what it is that you do and who you help.
Okay. So I am a casting director by profession. That's what I do for my job, which means I find actors for movies, TV shows, television commercials. I've been doing it for a lot of years. And several years ago, people started asking me if I would coach them privately, if I would do one-on-one. I had a man stand in the doorway of my office begging me to take money and telling me how I could really flesh out this. And I looked at her and said, no, I don't do that. But I kept hearing it and hearing it and hearing it. So I thought, well, maybe there's something to this. So I first started with one-on-one. I would just coach one-on-one actors. And that was very time consuming. Mm-hmm. I did it well, but if I had 8 people and I coached once a week, I had to find 8 separate hours a week to coach these people. And I'm running a business meanwhile. Mm-hmm. So I did that for a couple of sessions, if you will. And then I said, I can't do this anymore. So I stopped. And then I got the idea to do a group. It's like, what if I did it as a group? What if I had 8 or 10 people as a group? Then I only have to find 1 or 2 hours a week instead of 8 or 10 hours a week. So that's kind of how the whole thing started. And I did a couple of groups a few years ago, and I decided I wanted to expand. And I'm going to tell you. So I started listening to podcasts. I started listening to different interviews and whatnot of people who coached other people to do group mentorship programs, and it was all so overwhelming. It was all so overwhelming. I literally, and I told you, Lauren, I literally would wake up every morning with such anxiety over it, and I thought, well, why am I doing this? Meanwhile, I kept getting emails from actors saying, when are you going to do your next program? When are you going to do your next program? So it was like, so on one hand, I had an audience, but on the other hand, I was so overwhelmed by anxiety. And then, everything happens for a reason and a purpose, I believe. Lauren, I don't even know how, but Lauren came across my Facebook feed, and she had this is so true. I'm not making this up. She had this peace and this tranquility, and she had this nurturing personality, and she started talking about helping people put together group coaching programs. And I thought, the anxiety that I felt from this other person went away, because when I saw Lauren, I thought, that I want to reach out to that girl. That's the person I want to talk to. And that was last year. And we did a one-on-one session, and she told me what she was about, and I signed up. So that sounds pretty easy. But then what happened was,
then the real work starts.
Yeah. So then we were doing our thing, and I was putting things together. I said, I'm going to do it for January. I'm going to have my mentorship program. At first, I wanted 100 people, and that like choked me to death. And then I thought, well, I'll have 50, and that kind of. So then we started, what's more manageable? And Lauren is very good with asking you the right questions. What's more manageable? How do you feel? I love, because she'll say things like, how do you feel with 100? Anxiety. How do you feel with 50? Still anxiety. How about 40? She would work with me to get me to feel what was comfortable for me. So I found the right number. I found what was most comfortable, and I was ready to put it together. Well, the universe had a different plan for me. And it was last December, it wasn't that long ago. And I had what I call a catastrophic fall. And I ended up in the hospital for weeks and surgeries. It was terrible. So Lauren was doing her weekly Zooms with us, and I got on with the oxygen and the cords and the wires.
Just so fantastic that you did that, by the way.
I was like, oh my God. And I said to Lauren, forget it. I'm not doing it. And I'm not doing it. I can't do it. Everybody's lost momentum. And Lauren said, no, everybody has not lost momentum. Maybe you lost momentum because you're lying there in a hospital bed, but your group, your tribe, your followers, they don't know what's happening, because I didn't share that with anybody. So nobody knew I was lying in a hospital bed and couldn't walk and couldn't breathe. I mean, it was like all this stuff. And she said, don't give up. Don't give up. Nobody has lost the momentum. Keep going. And that was so hard. I was like, could I just quit? She wouldn't let me quit.
I gave her the option.
But you were so right.
Yes.
You were so right. Because nobody had lost the momentum but me. And I thought everyone lost it and nobody had. You really reframed my brain. You really helped me to see things in a different way that I did not at that moment. I mean, like I'm in this haze of God knows what they were giving me.
Oh yeah, being in the hospital, it's like you forget what's going out in the outside world. Is it daytime? Is it nighttime? It's just brutal. Yeah.
I know. I want to go home. And I launched my program. I think I only launched it 1 week later than I initially was going to. It wasn't bad. And I had a full group of people. Mm-hmm. And it was very successful.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you.
Oh, so thrilled for you. And a couple things that I wanted to point out about what you said, Lori. The first is you were talking about those, like that feeling of like anxiety with 100 people or 50 people. And the first thing I wanted to point out for you listening is being aware of where your comfort zone is and where your growth edge is. Because I know from my experience, when I've pushed far beyond, like, the idea of feel the fear and do it anyway. You can feel the fear of do it anyway, but you can do it in a way that's not going to push you so far that you can't manage it. Because I've pushed myself to the point where it's way too far and then I've just collapsed. So I know when you are feeling that sense of anxiety, and if you're thinking about this launching a program right now, is where is your comfort zone and where is your growth edge? Because you want to be in that growth edge because that's what expands your comfort zone. So you might feel okay with having 5 or 10 people in this round. And Lori got up to 20 people in this round. And now, Lori, you might feel like, okay, that's my comfort zone now. And you might have a different growth edge. If you wanted to push past it, you could. But moving to 100 might just feel like it's just way too hard on your nervous system.
Correct.
Yeah. So yeah. I loved that you pointed that out. But the other thing that I really appreciated about your story is I think sometimes we wait. I know I've had this experience, and I speak to a lot of entrepreneurs who have this experience of like, oh, it's not the right time. There are like the circumstances aren't the right time. My kids are home from university right now. It's not the right time. Or I need to take care of my kids because they're young. It's not the right time. Or I'm working my job and it's not the right time. Or I just need to make some more money first and then I can do it. Like we have all these circumstances that can happen in our lives. But the thing I love about your story, Lori, is you had a really challenging circumstance. Like it wasn't just like, oh, I'm also not that, okay, kids are challenging. I'm not going to like discount that for any moms in the room. But like when you're in the hospital, that's a huge challenge. How, of course, yes, we coach together, but what are some of your thoughts that went through your mind that helped you move through that challenge and didn't let your circumstances dictate what was possible for you?
What really helped me was what changed my brain was when you said, but everybody else hasn't lost momentum. And I realized I was lying there and I was 100% self-absorbed. I mean, of course, I was self-absorbed.
Of course, understandable. You need to to push through this thing.
It was a lot. It was a lot. And I thought, really? Because I guess we feel like it's like years and years and years and years and years ago, I smoked cigarettes. I mean, it was a terrible habit and it wasn't, but I stopped. And when I stopped smoking cigarettes, I thought the whole world stopped smoking cigarettes. And when I see somebody now smoke a cigarette, I'm like, people still smoke cigarettes? You know what I mean? Like, so when my brain could not even imagine putting together this mentorship program starting in a month, I just assumed that everybody else felt the same way. Lori didn't want to do it. Nobody else wanted to do it either. It never even dawned on me that everybody else was still on board. And when you said that, it was like this light bulb that went off over my head. And I thought, really? And I really processed that a lot. And I reached out to a couple of the people, not telling them what I was going through, just reached out and said, let me know if you're still interested. And everybody wrote back, oh, yes, yes. And I thought, look at that, look at that. I was wrong. And so I got out of the hospital somewhere a week before. Oh no, I got out the day before Christmas Eve. That's what it was. It was the day before Christmas Eve. So I knew I couldn't really do much promoting Christmas week, New Year's week. That was a lot. So I said, I don't have to scrap the whole thing. I can just push it a little bit. And because I was ready to run, I don't need this. There's too much on my plate. But in actuality, it was really so beneficial for me because it got me out of myself. It got me not to think about what was going on. Am I ever going to walk again? Am I ever going to walk normal again? It got me out of that negative thinking. And I said, I'm going to help other people. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to help other people. And I know that by helping other people, I help myself. And by doing my mentorship and my group mentorship program, they these people, I feed off these people. I thrive. I really do. And I think I know you do. I know
Mm-hmm.
you do. I know coaches, you know, I have, I have a WhatsApp group that I use. And some people do a Facebook group or whatever. I do a WhatsApp group, and I try to stay, as you shared, stay engaged with these people, which I do. And so when I would have a win, I would say, "Oh, look, guys," and then I would take the goals that the people
Share
would
with you.
would yeah share with me, for themselves. So like a couple of people, even though I deal with actors, that's who my group is. Sometimes a couple of the people in my this past group and in previous groups, their goals have been diet and exercise and get myself in shape. So we share in the what's I lost 3 pounds. I did 10,000 steps today. And that kept me going as well.
Mm.
So
I love that.
yeah,
Yeah. And so, Lori, basically, the way I see what you do is you help actors get paid work, right? You help them
yes,
fulfill their dreams as actors, right? And they come
correct,
from all different levels of experience who work with you. But the thing that
correct.
I wanted to really point out about what you said is that when I helped you make that shift, which is why coaching is so invaluable. I'm sure if you're listening and you're a coach, you are full-heartedly in agreement with us, is that a coach can help you kind of notice what box or what your reality that you've created for yourself and can help you see beyond it, right?
Right.
And the thing that I really love that you did there is that I started to help you kind of see what if that's actually not true? What if that's a belief that everyone
Right.
else has lost momentum and it won't work anymore?
Right.
But then you started looking for proof to show your mind that that wasn't actually true. So you went out and spoke to other people and reached out to a few people who had shown interest, and they said, "Oh no, I'm still interested." And when you have more proof, like when you're trying to take on a new belief and you look for other proof outside of yourself that can reinforce that belief, it can become stronger. And so I really love that you did that because that helped you let go of, I've lost momentum. This isn't going to work. Everyone's lost momentum in this endeavor. And it helps you let go of that belief when you look for that proof.
And something else you helped me with was how to price it.
Mm.
Because I had numbers in my head and I don't know if it's too much or not enough. And you started doing the same thing with numbers of participants, but also dollar numbers. Does this number feel, oh, no, I think that's a lot. Does this, not enough? And, I just went with my gut
Mm-hmm.
and knowing full well that you can't underprice,
Yeah.
as you and I've discussed also, because then you undervalue. I've had people who want to offer acting classes for $15. And I said, nobody's going to take your class. They said, but it's so cheap. I said, exactly. It's so cheap.
And people
And
won't
they
value
don't,
it. And
they
people who
won't value it.
pay attention. Yes. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
all this work, I've had a coach on and off for many years in various aspects of my life. Fitness coach,
Mm-hmm.
business coach, all kinds of coaches. I find them invaluable. Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
The other thing that I love that you pointed out too was about the momentum. And sometimes I think that I fall into this as well, is that sometimes if you have been at this for a little while, like if you're brand new, I mean, you're starting to grow your audience, you're starting to build all this, there's a lot going, right? But if you're listening to this, you've likely been doing this for a little while. And sometimes I think we forget about all of the seeds that you've already planted and all the momentum that you've created for yourself. Because the thing that I find that I fall into, and I don't know if you find this, Lori, is that if I'm not speaking to someone directly, I feel like I don't have a connection with them. But I have to remind myself that just because I don't see them, they are still seeing me. So you have been growing up, like you have an audience on Instagram, you have a reputation in your industry, you have been running office hours regularly. So you've been building and building and building this momentum. And so the other thing I wanted to point out for you listening is that just because you don't necessarily make connections with people and it can feel like I've lost momentum, don't discount everything else that you've created and how that's still helping you build the momentum, even when
Right.
you're not always present.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love
Exactly.
that.
We have no idea.
Yeah.
I found this for myself, and I tell this to my actor friends. Um, People are watching us.
Mhm.
We don't even know that they're watching us, but they're watching us. So for me, someone once said to me, "You have to be a power of example." I can't
Mm.
coach somebody to go for it when I'm like, sad and depressed. And I can't coach somebody to be physically fit when I'm overweight and I don't work out and I eat ice cream all day. I have to, I have to show that I can do it in order for me to show you
Mhm.
that you can do it.
Yeah, that leadership. I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Well, you mentioned a few things that have helped you around like listening, because I'm big into listening into your intuition and your gut, because really there's no rules when you're creating your own business, your own program. You get to decide, which can be great, but also sometimes can feel like paralyzing because there's so many options. So I
Right.
loved how you talked about the different ways that we kind of tune in to find the right pricing, the number of people, your goals, things like that. Is
Right.
there anything else that we've talked about that you think would be helpful for people listening that you would give as a strategy that helped you, or a strategy or a way of seeing things that helped you with your program?
Um, I I like I like watching other people and seeing how they do it.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm interested in listening to a podcast or watching a video, or I watch how other people talk to me, like how
Mm-hmm.
coaches speak to me, how
Yeah.
videos speak to me, how people market to me. I do that. I say, oh, well, they're sending me a video every week.
Mm-hmm.
Or um, I like the way they said this, or I like what they wear, or I like the consistency. I heard this once. It said, because I do something, I call it Lori Wyman's office hours,
Mm-hmm.
and I started it the right at the beginning of COVID, so March of 2020, maybe it's April of 2020, and I do Thursdays at 2 p.m. and I'm consistent. That was another thing that I was taught. You must be consistent, whatever that consistency is. So my people know that the first Thursday of every month from 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern, Lori's going to be on. And sometimes like holiday time, I do every Thursday for the month. I go, here's my holiday present to you. But what they don't know, and I'm just going to tell you a little secret, what they don't know, and that's what I was doing last December when I fell. I said, I'm going to have a big holiday surprise for you. I'm going to do it every Thursday for the month of December as my holiday gift to you. But the intention was because I'm going to start promoting my mentorship program. And I know that the more I can get in front of you, the more
Mm-hmm.
I can kind of remind you, hey, what about the mentorship program? Hey, what about the mentorship program? As opposed to once a month is not enough. But every week. And when you see my face and you see me and you hear me speak, we know, Lauren, you've told us this as well. We know that you make a much bigger impact as opposed to an email that says, hey, join me. But if I'm talking to you and I'm getting animated and I'm getting excited and I'm getting you excited, you'll go, wow. I had one woman, this is the truth. After one of my Lori Wyman's office hours, I said, if you're interested in the mentorship program, only if you're interested in the mentorship program, stay on and I will answer any questions. And one girl said, I really don't want to join your mentorship program. I already have a mentor. Do you mind if I stay on and listen anyway? I said, I don't care. She signed up for my mentorship program. And she said, now I have two mentors. And I'm doing a renewal in the fall. She's doing it again. And she still has her other mentor. So
Yeah.
you never know. So yeah, you just never know.
I love that. And that's like such an example of, the abundance and being like, oh, just because someone else has a mentor doesn't mean that you need to say, oh, it's not possible for them to join me. So I love
Right.
that you said that. The thing I
Yeah.
wanted to point out too about what you said there is, first off, the power and the importance of reminding people and showing up and being there regularly, especially when
Mhm.
you're promoting something. Because
Yes.
sometimes I think like I know I've done this in the past, and people have done, like my clients have done this, is like they'll share it like once or twice and then they'll figure they've done enough and then they'll let it go. But when I think about like if you followed me for a while, you probably know that I love Lululemon, and I have like the little Lululemon app. And I have their notifications on because when I order something, it'll tell me that it's coming in or whatever, right? So now they send me little pings like, hey, have you seen these pair of shorts that have come in? Or, hey, did you know there's like new Align blah, 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 and like new Align tights that have come in this color. And so they're always like reminding me. And because I love Lululemon so much, I'm like, oh, I'll take a look at that. And I'll like shop in the middle of the day, right? And it's the power of reminding the people who want to hear from you. You're not annoying them. For the people who really need to hear from you,
Right.
they need
They'll
to hear it
unsubscribe
multiple
if
times.
they don't want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're subscribed, they want to hear.
Yeah, I love that. And the other thing that I loved about what you did is when we first started working together, Lori, you were talking about, those big launches, and that sounded really stressful and too many moving parts. Because if you've ever done a launch before, you know that there's a lot to it, right? And it's not the only way for you to sell your program. And what I love about what we talked about with you, Lori, is to think about what you're naturally good at and what your natural strengths are, and lean more into that. So I know that Lori is fantastic on camera, live, like your energy is so strong. And so that's the way you need to, like, your energy is contagious. That will really connect well with people in a group. But maybe you hold space for people really well and you're really good one-on-one. Maybe you need to do more sales one-on-one, or maybe you're really great at motivating people and you love the idea of having a challenge and having a big launch, and like that really fuels you. And you love the idea of having a 5-day challenge. Like, I like what you were saying, Lori, and just highlighting this is really thinking about what are the things that I love? What is the way I want to sell my program? What are my strengths? And don't feel like you have to do it another way just because someone else is doing it that way.
Thank you for saying that, because yes, that was so key to me launching this, because I was getting so overwhelmed with making these, videos and making sure they get sent out. So,
Mm-hmm.
every 5 days, and you've got to do this. And I remember saying to you, it's just so overwhelming. And you said to me, well, how do you like to communicate with your people? And so I like doing this. I do my office hours and I talk to them. And you said to me, it's like you opened something up and you gave me permission to do it your way, Lori. And I was like, really? I can do it my way? I don't have to do it the way that all these other people, because really that was just so overwhelming. And, launch a video every day and do that. It was too much for me.
Yeah.
And then when you said that, it was like this big weight came off my shoulders. I was like, I can do it my way. Yeah, you can do it your way. And I love that. So thank you. I forgot about that. Thank you very much. That really helped a lot.
Fantastic. Yeah, because really when we get down to it, yes, you can have all these strategies and different ways of optimizing your funnels and all that kind of stuff. But really what it comes down to is, are you hearing, like, build an audience, really hear what they need and show them how your offer is going to help them get the result that they want. And then there's lots of different ways that you can do that, as long as you're connecting with them and showing them how you're going to help them solve their problem. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, that word funnels freaks me out.
Yeah, like Lori does not need a funnel. You do
what
not
is
need
that? I don't even, I still, after all these, all those terms, the funnels, the landing pages, I was like, I'm never going to be able to do this. And you were like, do it your way. So whatever way, some people love that stuff. And if
I love funnels.
Yeah,
funnels, by the way, if you don't have a clue what we're talking about, funnels are when you basically have an automated kind of plan where someone finds a landing page and they sign up for something, then they get a series of emails, and they might sign up for a webinar or some sort of event. And it's like a series of events that funnels them into your program is what the funnel is, just for if you don't know what we're talking about.
Exactly. Yeah. And I just had no clue. I had no clue what that was. And it just sounded like so much work. And I thought, I can't, and it is, I know, right? And I thought, I can't do all that. I just want to do my little group mentorship program without all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And you actually said it was like this comfort. You don't have to do it that way. Oh, I don't. Oh, thank goodness. Yeah, that really helped me a lot. So thank you.
So awesome. So what's been possible for you now? Like, what does your group program look like now that you've run it? What's your next goal? Like, to give us an update where you're at now.
So I just finished my group that I started in January. I did a 4-month, and I realized after doing 4 months, it was too much. So I'm back to 3 months. I'm going to do one in the fall, but I wanted to promote it to the people I just finished with. So I asked you, I'm still coaching with you, and I asked you, what do I do? And you said, give them a signing bonus, give them something over the summer to keep them going until the fall. It doesn't have to be the every week thing, but it can be every couple weeks. So what I did is I created a WhatsApp for my new group. I'm about almost half full for the fall, and I haven't even promoted it yet. Haven't even really promoted it to new people. I've just been, reaching out to the people. So I said, hey, if you all want to do it again, we'll just do it again. And they loved the camaraderie. They loved being together. So I created a WhatsApp for the new group. And every once in a while, I do pop into the old group just, to remind them, hello, we're still here if you want to sign up for the fall. And I'm there to answer questions. I'm there if they need to talk to me. That's what they get over the summer. They get access to me.
I love that.
That's kind of like the bonus. We have the connection on the WhatsApp, and then they have access to me. I've done several one-on-ones with several of the people in the last week, actually. So So that was a big help for me. So I'm going to be doing the fall mentorship program in September. So it's 3 months, September to October to November to December. It'll take us through the end of the year. And I think so far so good. I think I just want it to be women, which is something kind of cool. I had a couple of guys in the last one. There's different energy, if you're a guy, maybe you just want to do a guy one, but I know that there's different energy if it's all women or if it's co-ed. So that's kind of in the back of my mind. I'm trying to keep it to just women, because then we can tackle things that can't really tackle if there's men.
But yeah, you can tackle different things when it's just women who have like their own specific maybe concerns or worries or beliefs that come up for women that maybe the men in your program aren't experiencing, or people who don't, right? So, and I always like to be non-gender normative. So maybe, women only versus like however you identify. But I really like that. And the thing I liked about what you're pointing out, so you filled that program, and then now you're thinking about the next one. And instead of starting from scratch, you already have this group of people who loves what you do. And now you're thinking about, how can I renew them? What's that going to look like? How will I change so I can support different levels? I talk about differentiation, which is something we're going to be working on in the next little few weeks in signature program design, but helping people who have already worked with you versus people who are new. How is that going to look, rather than starting from scratch? And now you're already partway filled and you haven't even started promoting it. So it'll be really easy for you to fill it for the fall, rather than feeling you have to do this giant launch again.
Correct. Yeah. I like to keep everything manageable. I don't want these, you read about these, you hear about the hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people. I want a connection. I can't have a connection with, 500 people. But I can have a connection with a couple dozen, and that's fine for me,
And then it's really like, it's the program that you want, and you can identify and if you're listening, identify what really matters to you. Is it really making a huge impact in helping hundreds and hundreds of people, or even thousands of people? Or is it more important for you to impact fewer people, but have a really strong connection with them? Like, that's more my style as well. And so I love that you've been able to like hone in on what's the style for you for your program.
Exactly.
Good. Well, as we wrap up, Lori, I would love to hear if you have any kind of words of encouragement or wisdom for someone who's maybe launched a program before and knows the challenge of it and wants to launch again, but is a little bit wary or not sure where they want to go next. What kind of words of encouragement or wisdom would you share with them?
So I work with actors. Those are my peeps. And I love watching actor videos. There are so many actor stories, and I'm not going to share them with you now, but you can go online, you can watch them, how they failed, they got rejected, and they kept going, and they failed again, and they kept, I think one of the actors, I don't want to quote anybody, but he said, fail again, fail harder, fail bigger, keep going. There are so many actors that were told, you're too tall, you're too short, you're not pretty enough, you're never going to make it. And they're giant stars, and they've won Oscars and Emmys. And I see with these people, I just know because I know that anybody can accomplish anything they put their mind to.
So good. So good. I love that. And it's so true, because when you think about entrepreneurship, like running a business and getting to any kind of level, like the goal that, if you're listening, I know you have goals it's like a sport or acting or music. Like those people that you see with all the success, they have had to have many experiences where they felt stupid, where they worried about what they had self-doubt, judgment, people got in their face, they failed, their launch failed, they didn't sell any spots, whatever it is. But the difference is really not that those things happened, it's what you make it mean. And when you make it mean like, this is normal, this is just part of my journey, and I'm going to learn from it and move forward, those are the people that really hit their goals and reach their goals. So I love that advice. So good, Lori.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, thanks so much for being here. And thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Align and Inspire podcast. We will link up Lori's contact in the show notes and mine. So if you want to reach out and let Lori know if anything impacted you from what she said, or if you want to connect with me, you can connect with me as well. I would love to hear from you. And I will see you on another episode of the Align and Inspire podcast. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of the Align and Inspire podcast. I hope that it was helpful for you, that it inspired you. And before you go, if you found this episode helpful, I would love to have you join our summer series coming up very soon in July to help you really create that aligned signature program. If you want to join us, the link is in the show notes. I would love to see you there, and we'll see you on next week's episode of the Align and Inspire podcast.